Yeah, okay. You know what I am a fan of though? The UFC. And I was watching that from the comfort of my couch this weekend as well. And Gone, excuse me.
Okay.
Surreal Gone. I know. I heard both of y'all.
It's like, you got to put some respect on that man's name. Man.
I messed up. Hey, at least I correct myself. Like, I think I might have not correct myself one time on this show. I'm pretty sure. But Surreal Gone went in there and did the thing and finished Derek Lewis. Now, in my opinion, personally, I feel like he kind of did what he was supposed to do. So I'm not mad at him for winning, but at the same point in time, like, I think it doesn't really move me up much more than what I thought of him before. I thought he was a contender before, and I think this makes him more of a contender. It definitely cements him to a certain degree, but like, I'm not going to say he's going to go in there and destroy Francis. You know what I mean? That's what I'm not going to do.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the fight between him and Francis is going to, I feel like you won't really know until you see it in this case, just because of the Francis that we saw against Stipe versus like what we saw Gandu against Lewis. So against Derek Lewis. So, I mean, you never know what you might get when it's two heavyweights colliding with each other.
That's true.
At the end of the day. But I will say this, congratulations to Gon. Now, how you pronounce his first name again?
Cyril.
Yeah. Cyril. Shout outs to Cyril Gon. It was a good performance. He did what was necessary. It seemed like Derek Lewis just couldn't catch a rhythm, as well as like he couldn't get his shots off for the most part. He did at certain points, he did try to like really try to get Gon in to stand and bang with him, but it wasn't going to work. And then, of course, I'm not sure. I didn't do a follow-up on it, but I know it looked like he did hurt his leg at the end of the fight. So, and I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but what was up with Derek Lewis getting punched in the eye a couple times and thinking he got finger poked?
I mean, he was getting the bleeding head punched off of him. he was getting fucking schooled. Like, I mean, you watched the fight. He was getting cracked, and then he was getting cracked so bad he thought Cyril was cheating. But no, man, he's just punching the shit out of you, punching you out. And
said, bro, you don't hit that hard.
When he knocked him down, he didn't knock him down from a punch. He knocked him down from a forearm. He hit him with a forearm, and then Derek collapsed to his knees, and then it was over. It was over at that point. And first of all, shouts out to Cyril Gone. The heavyweight fight between him and Francis should be an intriguing fight. Right now, I'm choosing Francis to win by either second or third round KO. But that's just who I'm choosing right now. As you know, when the fight gets announced and we get closer, we'll give a much better breakdown of that fight. But for Cyril Gone, man, I picked him to win. Now, I picked him to win by a decision, but I'm not surprised that he finished Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, if he can't get a rhythm going because the guy got no rhythm. He's always been known for that one-shot KO power. He's never been known for being able to mix it up really well. He's never been known for having extraordinary game plans. It's always been like the opponent takes the foot off the gas a little bit, and then Derek Lewis, boom, cracks him. Watch Alexander Volkov when he was beating Derek Lewis the whole fight, and then he thought he was going to cruise, and then next year Derek Lewis knocks him clean out. So I feel like Derek Lewis has a lot of this is Derek Lewis. Hey, I'm going to throw some switch kicks, some high kicks, because he threw a high kick to Cyril Gone as well. Yeah. But that's really to throw the opponent off so they could be baited into a right hand by Derek Lewis. But if you technically sound like Cyril Gone, you're going to see through all that bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the strikes, right? He outstruck him. I think Derek Lewis, I'm seeing different numbers. He only hit him 8 times, only hit him 6 times. But Cyril Gone, 100 this, 100 that, 100 that. Like,
he didn't even throw a punch in the first round, I don't think. Or he didn't land a punch, I don't think, like that. Or maybe he might have landed like maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's the bullshit. But like he missed a lot. He was punching a lot of air, and I think that he probably thought all I gotta do is hit this motherfucker one time. Instead of trying to put a game plan in, instead of trying to put like a real effort of like trying to close the distance and trap Cyril Gahn from backing away and circling. Cyril Gahn was like jumping back from his punches, and I just look at it as like Derek. It was just a bad matchup for Derek. It just wasn't a good one. So shouts out to Cyril Gahn. Derek should have hung his head low. I mean, he's always going to get big fights. He's at the top of the division. So he'll never win a championship. But what I will say is he'll be in big fights. He'll be in fun fights. So he should have hung his head low. There was other few fights that I thought that was good. Like Vicente Luque choking out Michael Chiesa.
Shouts out to him, man.
Yeah,
I didn't choose him in that fight, but I wanted him to win.
Thank God. Thank God he won. What was the Pride of Rio, Jose Aldo.
Man.
Yeah,
did his motherfucking thing.
Yeah, he looked good too. Definitely in the third round.
Yeah,
I want to see him fight TJ Dillashaw, man.
He's
I really do.
TJ Dillashaw.
I hope so.
That would be a good fight.
I hope so. Bantamweight is looking good right now, guys. It's looking good, man.
Is it the most intriguing division right now? Is it?
I want to say the most intriguing, in my opinion, the most intriguing division. And I know some listeners they're going to comment, but they can kiss my ass. I think welterweight is so intriguing right now. Here's why. Right. So after Usman and Covington, assuming Usman does win, we don't know if he will win. I understand that, listeners, because people love to twist words. Assuming Usman does win, right? We don't know if he will win. Then there's matchups there. You got Vicente Luque. You got Leon Edwards. I know Dana White, he could pull one out of his ass. Nick Diaz. You know what I mean? I feel like there's some interesting fights, some good fights that can happen. Or Usman might drop a bombshell and move up to middleweight. We don't know. I think, and then that will open up welterweight again. And not only just Usman fighting, what about Gilbert Burns? Gilbert Burns could fight Leon. He could fight Masvidal. I feel like there's all these good matchups in welterweight. Now, will the divas stop bickering and battering so this way they can sign the contract or fight? We'll see. I just think welterweight had more fun matchups that could be made. Bantamweight is good. It is good. But I just think welterweight is just a little more, it's more eyes on the money on that division right now.
Here's why I see it, right? Excuse me. Here's why I see it, right? I think that bantamweight has some of the strongest competition throughout the top 10, and the listeners can check it out in the highly advised top 10 on our post on Instagram if they really want to see. But
check it out. Don't if you really want to see. Check it out. Look at it.
Hey yo, and what day does that typically come out?
Usually that mother effer comes out anytime from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. So if you listen to this right now and you haven't seen it, you're wrong.
So what, like when you look at the top 10 from top to bottom, I think that bantamweight is interesting because you have people in like the 6'7" who could easily be like right back in the mix, with like a win or two. And when I think about like welterweight, I think of like what's going on. Jorge Masvidal just got beat twice. Colby Covington's on the way. And it's like, the way I see it is like, while Vicente Luque and some other matchups like Leon Edwards are interesting, I would have to see those fights actually materialize because I already know what they're going to do with Leon. They're going to set him up in some other fight, and he has to win. You know what I mean? And the MMA guys just might not swing that way.
Right, but these are fights that you want to see. At bantamweight, everybody wants to see Piotr Jan beat Aljamain up because nobody likes Aljamain right now because of the whole paper champ, fake champ shit, right? Then they want to see TJ Dillashaw, fight either Rob Font or now Jose Aldo. And then they want to see Cody Garbrandt. He's no longer a bantamweight if you think about it.
Yeah, he moved to featherweight.
He's moved flyweight.
Yeah,
moved to flyweight. Then you got Dominic Cruz on his next fight, but I don't know if anybody in the top 5 is going to give Dominic a shot. So I'm not saying bantamweight is not intriguing. No, there's fun fights. I just think that there's more box office fights up at welterweight. Fights that's going to main event or co-main event.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that from that standpoint. I can agree with that just because for me personally, I don't really follow a lot of the lighter weight fighters as much now that we're getting more like action in like the 170. Of course, anytime you have like, well, you already know my whole thing about the champions at the higher divisions right now. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there's more. I think there's more to box office hit, or just like Lau was saying, just in terms of like the main events or the co-mains. I think you have more opportunity there at 170 right now. And if I'm not gonna lie to you, I really can't see Usman. I mean, I'll put it like this: I can see Usman going up to 185, but I'm not sure how that whole thing will work, especially with the agreement that him and Izzy have. But I mean, we all know, we've seen it in history before where promises get broken. So
I mean, let's not act like they're like best buds either. You know what I mean?
Apparently they are. Apparently him, Ngannou, and himself, they're all like actually real tight. And that's why they, every time like for their fights, they always show up to support each other, because it's kind of like this African bond. And I'm not saying it to be like, oh, waving the African flag, even though I am African myself, but we're all African. Fuck it.
So
but I'm more African than both of you guys. But
oh my god, oh
wow. Like for real, and I really do think that they're tight. And I just think if Usman does move up to middleweight, it's because Adesanya lost to Whitaker. That's the only way I see it happening. Or Adesanya is like, hey, I'm permanently moving up to light heavyweight.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Yeah, I lean more to like him. I lean more to either of those two scenarios, but I mean, at the same time, we've already seen him go up to 205, and we saw how he realized like, hey, I think he will move back up to light heavyweight at some point. Mm-hmm. But for the time being, I think Izzy's going to figure out like, okay, I'll dominate my division for the time being. Probably have maybe a couple close fights, possibly with new talent emerging as well. But at the same time, I think he's going to probably figure out a way to fine tune himself so he can actually fight at 205, similar to like what we saw with John Jones right now, which honestly to me personally with John, it kind of pisses me off at this point, just because it's like it's been 2 years, but he's just trying to get his weight up. But who knows if that fight end up happening with him and Stipe? So
you mean weight up as far as like trying to get his coke up, or or his muscle mass?
Hey,
shouts out to John Jones.
Hey man, go to the gym and ask him, yo.
I'm gonna show up and he's gonna do what Chael said what he was gonna do: run under the cage.
Oh my god.
He hates Chael Sonnen with a passion.
With a passion. Yo, I would hate Chael too, yo.